Hello, Jim Townsend here again. As always, you can find my website at townsend.b. Go over there for any information. It also has links onto a couple other websites I have, GentileDefenseLeague.com, GentileDefenseLeague.net, which is my book, Without Prejudice, that explains in great detail all of these topics that I'm talking to you about. And there's GentileDefenseLeague.org, which is my personal blog where I put opinions on many things as they come up. I'd like to ask you to watch my video of legal definitions first. And now I'd like to give you another legal definition. Definition of treason. Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition. Treason. The act of betraying the government of the state into the hands of a foreign power. Now, I'm just going to turn off that heater so it doesn't kick in again. Treason, the act of betraying the government of the state into the hands of a foreign power. Now, a vote is supposedly we Canadians getting together and electing a representative to government who goes off and governs the civil service for us. But is that what happens in Canada? You see, MPs, whenever we elect them in Canada, we the people of the state supposedly elect them to represent us. And they go to Ottawa, and the first thing that they do is they swear allegiance to a foreign power. They swear allegiance to the British Crown of Israel, well, actually to the Jewish Monarch of the British Crown of Israel. British is a Hebrew word. It means people of the covenant. We're under attack by these people. Their bar association, bar mitzvah, is another Hebrew term. It means son of the divine law. The Sons of the Divine Law formed a corporation called Canada, and they instituted courts, and ever since then they've been attacking us through the courts. You can prove this for yourself. If you look at the Senate is really what runs the corporation called Canada. Doesn't matter who you elect, they suggest laws and all that other sort of stuff, but nothing passes unless it goes through the second house of sober thought, which is just a bunch of drunken Jews in government is all it really is, because 50% of our Senate of Canada is Jewish. Dual citizenship are Israelis, if you can imagine that. Now, here's another thing, is 6 of 9 Supreme Court justices are also Jewish. We live in a country that has less than 2% of a Jewish population, and we take great pride in our multicultural heritage. We have a native population of less than of 10%, and yet we have not one native on the Supreme Court. Maybe that accounts for the fact that nearly 20% of the population of the jails is native. The largest industry in Canada, by the way, is Corrections Canada. Like I said, we're under attack by the courts. North America has 75% of the world's lawyers and 25% of the world's incarcerated prisoners, in spite of the fact that we only have 10% of the world's population. So it's clear how we're under attack and by whom. We know who these people are because they're in positions of power, and organizations are run from the top. So they're covert. They pretend to be good Canadians and all that other sort of stuff. But I mean, take MP Irwin Cotler. Whenever Canada's UN ambassadors condemned Israel as an apartheid state, this guy actually had the chutzpah to get onto the Global Jewish Agenda website, which is the official website maintained by the State of Israel, and call Canadians anti-Semitic. Calls us anti-Semitic in spite of the fact that 50% of our Senate is Jewish and 6 of 9 Supreme Court justices. Well, I want to know why the extreme racial prejudice in positions of power in this country. Do these people vote themselves into power? Are they self-promoting? Well, of course they are. We're under attack by them. Treason. Let's just revisit this idea of treason here. Treason, the act of betraying the government of the state into the hands of a foreign power. Now, on December the 10th, 1990, in Leduc, Alberta, MP Wilton Littlechild's constituents took him to court and they charged him. You see, prior to the election, they'd held a plebiscite, and 100% of the people in the constituency of Wetaskiwin voted against GST. And based upon that mandate, they elected a representative who swore that he was going to go to Ottawa and vote no to GST. So when he voted yes, everybody said, hey, deadbeat, get on over here. And they charged him. The judge ruled that the MP did not represent the state to the Parliament. He represented the Parliament to the state. You see, when Wilton Littlechild went to Ottawa, he swore allegiance to her Jewish Majesty. Well, who is Queen Elizabeth? You see, Queen Elizabeth claims to be Jewish. She claims to be genetically linked to Christ, which is why she sits on Christ's throne. You can read about the coronation stone, that little rock that sits under her chair there. I mean, it was the stone supposedly that Jacob, which is a Hebrew word meaning deceiver, slept on when he dreamed that God gave him the earth. Did you know that? That these Jewish people, the reason that they are the chosen people of God is because Jacob the deceiver. Why do they call him Jacob the deceiver? Because he was a whiny little pissant. He stole his brother's birthright. Whoa, think about that now. The symbology of that. He stole his brother's birthright, and then he stole his brother's blessing on his father's deathbed. So Esau was ready to kill him, so Jacob takes off at a run. Has to sleep in an old quarry because he's got no home, because he's a friggin' liar and he's a thief. But this lying thief sleeps on this stone and he dreams that God gives him the earth. He says, go into the land of Canaan. You see, it never was the land of Israel. How did Jacob become Israel? Jacob the deceiver. Yaakov means he grasps his heel. Literally. Figuratively means he's pulling his leg. Well, he's teasing him while he's a liar, is what it means. Okay? This skinny little liar dreams that God gives him the world. Well, how did he become Israel? Ruler of God and man. Well, you can read that in Genesis as well. Do you know that this skinny little lying Jew actually bested God in a wrestling match? Read it for yourself. Sent his family over to Jabbok and wrestled in the bushes with the man all night and came out walking funny. Now, I can believe that. I mean, I've read when the angels of God went into Sodom and all the men of Sodom wanted to screw the angels of God, so Lot says, well, here, just rape my daughters instead. Now, are we really going to believe what these people tell us in their dreams is the absolute gospel truth? Who are these people that have come into our country and just claim everything in sight? Huh? Well, read Deuteronomy 20 verses 10 to 20 and ask yourself, is this hate literature thinly disguised as a religious text? Absolutely, of course it is. Who is this little Jewish auntie sitting on the throne waiting for Christ's return? You know, the Jews and the Christians, well, they're both Jews. I mean, if you take a look at the New Testament here, the Society for Distributing Hebrew Scriptures, they even say the Holy Scriptures, both Old and New Testaments, were given to the world through the Jewish people. The world therefore owes them a very great debt, for wherever these scriptures have come, they have brought the blessings of light, joy, and peace. We owe them a great debt? Well, hang on. Read the Lord's Prayer in Matthew. You know, you see these funny little commercials on TV now, all these cross worshippers looking into the little Jew cross. And the Jews nail their Savior to a cross, and the cross worshippers wear it around their neck. Someone hanged your brother, would you wear a noose around your neck? Of course not. It's incredibly disrespectful. And Christians are no longer Christians, they're cross worshippers. They don't even know the Lord's Prayer. They sit in there, oh, look at that. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Well, no. Read the Lord's Prayer. Read what Christ wrote. He says, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Well, the Jewish queen of Britain has just finished her 50th Jubilee. If you read in the Old Testament, which is called the Torah, which means the law, by the way, the law says that the queen is supposed to give everybody's property back to them on their 50th Jubilee. Not only that, how does Christ teach people to pray in the Lord's Prayer? Forgive us our debts as we forgive those that forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So why aren't these people forgiving their debts as if there's some big Christians in the Christian nations? Why doesn't this little antichrist say, look it, this is wrong. You should not be swearing allegiance to me. I'm a person that lives on the other side of the world from your country. Your countrymen can't come and declare and swear allegiance to me because they're committing treason if they do. What true gospel is she holding up? Is she holding up the Torah, the Old Testament, or the New Testament, the refutation of the Old Testament? Well, you tell me. These people have gone on how many crusades to regain their Holy Land? Think about it. Peace, y'all. Love ya. Take care.